At some point in your creative journey or at some point in your life, if you have any kind of goal, any kind of aspirations, you're probably going to have to think outside of the box. So if there's things that you've been taught from your parents, from your pastors, from teachers, doesn't mean these things are necessarily wrong, but do some inventory. See how well it's been working for you personally in your personal situation. And everyone's experience is different. So what I'm about to tell you doesn't mean this is the only way this can work, because I've seen it work many ways. But what I'm about to tell you may be the answer you've been looking for as far as getting to the next level, or at least taking the next few steps on your creative journey or the journey of your goals or whatever it is you want to achieve. Sometimes we have too much time on our hands. Sometimes we get caught up in this idea that if I just had more time, then I can do X, Y, Z, learn a new skill, start my YouTube channel, lose weight, build relationships. We say, if we had more time, then I would get this thing done. And in more cases than not, there isn't any more time. Yes, you may be able to cut some time here, look at less brain rot, doom scroll a little bit less and gain some time back. But for some reason, our human nature will still find distractions and things to fill that time. So if you have limits on your time, if you work a full-time job, you come home, you got a couple of kids, you got a spouse in the house, you have things you have to fix around the house, projects that you have to do for work, having that limited amount of time is actually good for you. And let me give you 3 reasons why. The first reason why limits are good for you, limited in time, limited in resources, is because limitations or constraints create clarity. And clarity is the key. I don't care what it is that you want to achieve. If you want to be a better basketball player, what is it that you need to work on? Is it your handles? Is it your layup package? Is it your jump shot? Is it your free throw? If you know specifically, these are the things I need to work on, but I only have a half hour twice a week to do that. When you step into that gym, if you decide to step into that gym, you're going to maximize those 30 minutes. It's going to be all dribbling for 1.5 hours. And then maybe the next time you hop into the gym, it's all free throws. And the next time, maybe it's a leg up package or whatever it is for you. But having that limited time forces you to be clear on what actions you need to take. As simple as this may sound, I actually learned this when Snapchat was like fairly new. And I wanted to get on the platform, but I wanted to be a little bit different, right? So my homie hit me up and told me how it works, how you can add stickers. He did something similar. He made something on Snapchat with like emojis. And I saw that and I was like, oh, I actually like that. And this wasn't his intention. His intention wasn't to like do what I started to do on Snapchat. But from being on Snapchat, seeing what he did, I started to take emojis and make these other like in-depth animations, so to speak, just using emojis. And I found out what I could do, when I could not do. And when I saw the limitations I had, it sort of opened me up to the clarity. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to create. And so I started to put these things together successfully, so to speak. It was just a creative project, right? But I liked it. And other people told me that they got a kick out of these little emoji stories, so to speak. And that was the first time I learned that lesson, that like having limits is actually not a bad thing. Or even photography, for example. When you first start photography, sometimes you can feel like, there's so many things I got to take a picture of. What should I take a picture of? I'm trying to find my voice and my style, but I don't know what to take a picture of. I bumped my head, went through my learning process, put in my 10,000 hours, and then I started to teach workshops on photography. And the first assignment I would give my students is to go out, do some street photography, but you're only going to take pictures of, say, the color blue, or doors, or images with no people, or images with just people, or images with dogs. And having these constraints on what they can create help them to go out there and see and look for these images. Because, right, you can take a picture of everything, but it's harder to sort of like find your way when you're just taking pictures of everything because you can, and you're not really focused on composition, style, storytelling, and things like that. So that's when I learned the lesson, and I'm sharing that with you. Having limitations, not having all the time in the world, forces you to be clear on the next steps that you should take. The next reason why limitations can be good for you is because pressure reveals ingenuity. When you have a deadline, a strict deadline, or you have a little bit of fire under your butt, a little bit of pressure on you, you become really creative because you have to in order to get the job done. Unlimited time can breed procrastination. I don't know if at any point in your life you've ever been unemployed or between jobs and stuff like that, and you feel like, okay, now that I have this extra time, I'm going to really lock in and dial in on my goals. And maybe the first couple of weeks, you do just that, right? You take an action, you take steps, doing what you need to do. But then after a while, you just get complacent, man. You get bored and you're like, I'm going to take a break today, or I have all day. And so having all the time in the world actually makes you procrastinate. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but there's at least a little bit of truth within this. You don't want unlimited time. It doesn't mean it's fun to have pressure or deadlines, but as human nature, I think sometimes we need that push of pressure, that push of a deadline to cause us to use our ingenuity and our creativity in order to get the job done. Because if we have all the time in the world, most people in the world, I feel, will procrastinate because there's no pressure of time. But if I got 3 days to get this done and I really need 7, I'm going to figure out how to take that 7-day project and get it done in 3. Why? Because I have to. The third reason is that your limits can eliminate overthinking. There's this phrase called analysis paralysis. It's when you want to achieve something, or learn something, or do something, but you spend a ton of time just learning. Now, obviously, in certain situations, you need to do research beforehand. You need to brush up on some things. But I think too many people stop right there because they're doing some research, which is making progress. But then they realize in order to do that, I could take 1 of 4 routes. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, door number 4. Which door should I choose? Then you choose a door. And then you realize because you've chosen this, you actually have another 3 options. So to do door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. And this can go on forever and never and never, to the point where you never take action on your goal. You never take another step on your journey because you're analyzing, you're preparing, you're studying instead of getting out there and just taking a test and learning. I don't want to say the hard way, but just learning the most effective way, which is by doing for the most part. So in order to eliminate overthinking and have an abundance of options and an abundance of ways you can get it done, if you only have 2, you're going to pick one of the 2 and then bust a move. And I actually want to give you a bonus. Mastery is born from repetition. Mastery is born from repetition, not freedom. When you have time constraints, when you have limits, you're forced to take action over and over and over again. The key is fast, because you could take slow action over and over and over again. But that learning curve, those lessons you can extract from taking action, you don't get as many because you don't have as many reps in. It's like if I went to play basketball and I have 30 minutes to work on a particular skill set. If I just walk to the free throw line and shoot the whole 30 minutes, nothing special, nothing fancy, just shots up, shots and shots and shots and more shots. Every time I'm shooting, every few times I shoot the ball, every 10 or so times I shoot the ball, I'm making my adjustments. I'm figuring out what I did wrong, what I did right, and how I can do more right and do less wrong. And after that 30-minute session, even though it's only 30 minutes, my free throws are going to be better because I'm getting so many reps in. That's all I'm working on. And that translates to anything you do. The more repetitions you get, the more practice you put in, the more times you create videos, the more time you take pictures, the more times you work on your speaking skills. Every time you do it, you're going to find a new lesson or a new nuance to build from the next time you do it. But if you only get in 4 sessions per month, right? If you only create 1 video per month, yes, you're going to learn from that because that's what we do as humans, right? We're learning machines. But if you can triple or quadruple the amount of times you do that particular thing, right? You create those videos, there's going to be an endless amount of lessons that you wouldn't even have thought of had you not taken the action and just decided you only have a limited amount of time. And in that limited amount of time, I'm going to get in as many reps as I can over and over and over again. So I can take those lessons. And then the next time you do it, because you're so much more efficient, because you're so much more mindful, so much more thoughtful, and you're applying the lessons that you learn, you don't even need as long to get the job because you're becoming a master of a particular skill, right? So limit yourself. Limits are not bad. Sometimes they may not be fun, but they're actually here to help you. So if you don't have a ton of time, you should pat yourself on the back, embrace the challenge, and do what you need to do within the amount of time you have allotted to you. I hope this helps y'all. As always, ABC, always be creating, and I'll see you in the next video.